Can you kind of walk me through how this all came about, how you became interested in racing and how racing became interested in you?
Yeah, we kind of started communicating right around the 1st of January. Did several interviews when I was with the national team in New Zealand. Was getting up, I think 3, 4 in the morning to meet with different people here. As we came back and kind of got into She Believes and things on the national team side, those conversations continued. Following She Believes, I came out here and met with John Neese and several members of ownership, and then players kind of layered in, and at the end of the day, it kind of worked out for both sides.
Before you even started talking to racing, like, what did you know about them from afar, or what was your thought about the franchise from that perspective?
So this franchise is known for having elite facilities, incredible player experience, just this amazing foundation. A team that has an incredible potential when you look at the roster. Young players, internationals that have been very successful everywhere they've played. So knowing that, when racing started communicating, it became very appealing. It's also close to my hometown, so it was just a really good fit overall.
When you first started talking to John and the organization, what were some of the things that they were impressing upon you that they were really looking for in a general manager?
Yeah, the big thing is how can we increase our communication between the players, the front office, someone who can kind of lead the operations of racing as a whole on the soccer side, and given my experiences at the national team and building high-level environments all around the world, it seemed like a good fit.
Well, when you're describing what you did with the national team, it kind of feels like you were a bit of a Swiss Army knife over a little more than 9 years there. For people who maybe don't fully understand the day-to-day operations of that, could you kind of walk us through what you were tasked with over that long period of time?
Yeah, I think it was just how do you oversee the entire kind of off-the-field piece. That's everything from logistics and travel to accommodations to getting ready for the games. How do we support the players in the collective bargaining agreement? In that process, which is new for the women. It was signed, historic equal pay deal last fall. So it just kind of became being the support for the players and the technical staff and everyone there to kind of make sure the women's national team was in the best position to be successful.
The past decade or so has seen so much change in the women's game and within that organization. You had a first-hand look at that. Well, I guess there's probably a lot of lessons and takeaways that you had from that whole thing, but what kind of jumped out to you that you took to not only better that organization, but the sport as a whole?
Yeah, it's an exciting time for soccer in this country when you look at the World Cup coming up this summer for the women, and then 26, potentially 27, the LA games. It's an incredible time for the growth of the game. Being there for so long, I worked for 2 coaches, Vlad Klinanowski and Jill Ellis, both very successful in their own rights. So working with them, with Kate Margraf, the general manager, Tom King, the managing director of administration, they work at such a high level, and learning from them firsthand, I think, helped me get better as I progress in my career. And then I think bringing those lessons here will be super important.
And you've seen some of those watershed moments, obviously the CBA being one of them, but I feel like the entire sport has undergone a bit of a reckoning with the different abuse scandals and investigations that obviously played a role here, but across the NWSL. I think I remember you saying that you were one of the first people to talk to U.S. women's national team players after the Yates report. What do you remember about those conversations initially, and what were your takeaways, and okay, what do we do better to make our players feel safer?
Yeah, so we were in London when that happened. We'd kind of given them the day off, so that way they could kind of embrace the report, and we gave them mental health resources and those kinds of things so that they were supported. After talking to them, we kind of jumped into how can we support them, whether that's mental health resources, making soccer safe. U.S. Soccer's launched the Safe Soccer program, which is across all of their membership, something I've had a small hand in, and they've done incredible work. So I think it's all about how you can support the players and make sure they have a good environment and a protected environment to be successful on the field.
When you start considering this job, you know that this place went through something pretty terrible in that first season with everything that happened with Christy Holly. Before you even considered this job, I guess what were your impressions of what happened there from an administrative standpoint that you had that you could see as okay, that's obviously an issue, and this is how we correct that or take steps forward from that situation?
I think the club's already taken steps forward in that. The players feel safe. It was one of the first questions I asked them. It was a hard question, but it was something that was important to me. They feel comfortable here. And I talked to one of the young players of this group, and I said, what do you think? You've come in here new. And she said, if you hadn't told me there was an issue, I would have never known. And so I think the environment that's been created here by the club, by Kim and his staff, by the front office, and John, has made sure that the players have the support and resources they need. They have the safeguarding components, and now they're just ready to focus on soccer. I think the plan is to talk to every single player, talk to every staff member, and learn. The first couple of weeks is going to be how do we embrace all the knowledge that's coming, all the information and the experiences, and then we'll start to take a really hard look at how we can continue to improve. Well, the Yates report had recommendations, which U.S. Soccer took very seriously and has already accomplished the majority, if not all of them. So I think when you read through those, and the club has done a great job of implementing real response, safeguarding, safe sport. So there are recommendations, and the club's taken all those very seriously, and so is the league. So I think we're moving in a really positive direction for 23. We're excited to get them on the field here on Saturday and have support behind them. When
you look at the collection of talent that's here, between some of the experience that was brought in with like Carson and Abby, but mix that in with the young talent, the Jalen Howes and the Katie Lunds and Savannah DeMellos and such, you've stated that the potential is really high for this team. Just from the outside looking in and from what you know now, how close do you feel like this team is to really taking a big step forward on the field with results?
This is going to be a really fun team to watch. When you look at the midfield, when you look at the defense, and with the addition of Abby, Carson, Ellie back there, the attack is kind of revamped. There's several players coming off of injuries. This is going to be a fun team to watch in this league. I think this is a playoff team. And I think they'll continue to make the climb. A young roster. The internationals have been excellent, and it's going to be really successful.